Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to Lilla lördag with AWA. So who is AWA? Well, we're an IP provider. We were founded 127 years ago in Malmö, and since then we've grown to become a global company. We are present in Scandinavia, in mainland Europe, in the Benelux countries and Switzerland, as well as in China. And we assist small startups, SMEs, as well as large companies, large global companies with their IP. And so we provide this full service offering in all various types of intellectual property rights. The three of us, we work specifically within the chemistry and life science field in patents and support a lot of our companies here in the Stockholm, Uppsala region. So my name is Joanna Appelqvist. I'm a partner and European patent attorney, as well as Swedish patent attorney at AWA, and I've been working in IP since 2011. And prior to that, I was a researcher at the Karolinska Institute.
And hello everyone, good morning. I am Edith Sodorai, in the middle there. I started at AWA about 4 years ago, so with less experience in IP. But I started at AWA after 10 years of experience in academic research. I have a PhD in neuroscience, and I worked as a postdoc at the Karolinska Institute in protein science.
Yes, and my name is Magdalena Tasic. I work almost 3 years at AWA, and I joined AWA right after my PhD from Lund University, where I did both in small molecules, but also research in material chemistry and electrochemistry and batteries as well.
And to start with, probably you have seen the advertisement about we are gonna make an IP quiz and test your knowledge in IP. But first, I think the most important question is, so the first very important question, why IP and why do we do this, besides that it's super much fun, even though it doesn't seem like from the outside, but it is. But the key importance here is actually, you might have seen this graph before, but there is a tremendous change on how company value is actually built. So for example, while in the 70s and 80s, the company value mostly lied in all tangible assets like machineries, factories, warehouses, and storage. There's been a dramatic change, and in the recent years, more than 90% of the company's value lie actually in intangible assets, which is basically you and all of the know-how which the employees carry on and build the company assets around it. It includes data, any kind of trade secret the company has, of course the technologies, which are different types of protectable matters by intellectual property rights, and of course all the brand which you build around the company. And I think one of the best examples for that is Tesla, how much it actually matters what you build around your brand. So there is, according to latest reports from the European Patent Office, there is a strong positive correlation between intellectual property rights, ownership, and economic performance. And this is not only true for big companies, but interestingly, even for small and medium-sized companies, the revenue advantage increases over 40% if you actually work with your intellectual assets in a strategic manner. And what different types of IP rights we are talking about? Of course, most of you think first patents, but there are lots of other things we need to consider, which is trademarks, design, copyright, domain names, trade secrets, and so on. And now, before we get into more of the basics and some of the key aspects of IP, here comes the QR code for our Mentimeter exercise, and I see that we already have 2 players ready, so please scan the QR code with your phone and join. Important thing is, the one who actually does or responds all the 10 questions we're gonna have during the presentation and wins this kind of, this little quiz has a chance to win 1 hour of free IP advice from us. And we will find the right expert to your technology and questions.
Okay, we have 17 players already and see that some more are joining.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody who wants to join, have they joined? So we can get started. I'll take that as a yes. Perfect. So our first invention, a little teaser for this quiz. The inventor of the nicotine chewing gum, he was a heavy smoker. And the invention was originally intended for use in situations where smoking was inappropriate, such as in submarines, or where an enforced smoking ban made it difficult for the personnel to concentrate on the work. So the chewing gum replaced some of the nicotine that the smokers got from the tobacco smoke and reduced cravings for smoking and withdrawal symptoms. And the chewing gum was first presented at a fair at a World Conference on Smoking in New York in 1975. And actually, the Swedish authorities, they hesitated in approving it as a drug because, well, smoking was not considered being a disease, and they were hesitant to nicotine in a pure form, as well as the chewing gum was not a known administration form for medicine products. So Nicorette was approved as a prescription medicine in Sweden in 1981, and it was not until the 90s that it was actually available without prescription. And today, it's, well, Nicorette, of course, is is the world's first medicinal product for smoking cessation. And the inventor himself, he stopped smoking already in 1969 using the chewing gum. And the patent covering this product was approved 1975. So Nicorette is sold in over 80 countries worldwide, and the gum has been followed by other administration forms such as patches and mouth spray. The question to you, who is the inventor of the nicotine chewing gum? Is it Rune Elmqvist, Ove Färnö, or Gustav Felix Grönfeldt?
And now you should look at your screen, and you have 15 seconds to answer the question. Five seconds left. We have 17 responses already, 18. Good.
The right answer is Ove Färnö. And now, some of patent basics. Do you know the basic knowledge on intellectual property patents?
Yes. So first we will quickly talk about some basics regarding, for example, patent term and what are patents. So as you might know, patents are time-limited national rights of prohibition, meaning they're actually negative rights, a right to stop someone from using your invention. Typically nowadays, patent term is 20 years from filing an application. However, there might be exceptions. For example, USPTO grants few days or even sometimes years in addition to this patent term because of their own delays in prosecutions of an application. Moreover, before 1995, patent term in the US was 17 years post-grant, so after one patent was granted. And for example, we can see on the right an example of US patent application, and many other patent applications and patents looks very similar to this. And we have actually exactly the question, which is next related to the patent on the picture, which is number 6436135. And this patent obtained the longest patent term ever awarded. And our question to you is, how long was the patent term of this patent? Was it 36 years, 32, or 45?
Look at your device again. Oh, you are fast in responding. That looks good. A couple of more seconds we have. Cool. How was it?
Oh, very good. So this patent was actually valid for 45 years. Mm-hmm. It was filed in 1974. Prosecution at the USPTO lasted for 26 years, and then they got 17 years more after the grant. So in total, it was valid for 45 years afterwards.
So next is important question when it comes to patenting. What can we patent? Well, any invention in the field of technology, in any field of technologies, but it also means that it has to have a technical character. So for example, it's a bit more challenging with scientific discoveries or mathematical models. Those are not something that you would try to patent. Of course, if you overcome this very first hurdle, then the next hurdle is to be novel and be inventive, which means that the invention should not be obvious over the prior art. And what is the prior art then? So prior art is basically everything which was publicly available on the day prior to filing of your patent application. So if you're planning to file a patent application tomorrow, but you're gonna talk about your invention on a conference today, that's not good. That's already too late. So when we discuss prior art assessment, everything matters, written and oral disclosures as well. And when you file your patent application, what the patent examiners do, they look at the prior art and try to select a couple of documents which are closest to your invention and try to attack novelty and inventiveness. And that's what we do and like to do a lot, to argue for your invention that is actually novel and inventive, and the examiner is completely wrong. And of course, it's normally, like, typically, let's say at the European Patent Office, if it comes to novelty, you need to deal with one document. It's oftentimes your publication in one of the scientific journals. And then for inventive step, it's sometimes actually the combination of two documents. In the US, the examiners can pick and choose different features relevant for your invention from various documents, so it can be a bit more tricky. And there are a couple of extreme cases, for example, in case of this US patent, where the record number of prior documents were cited against an invention relating to analyte monitoring device and methods of use. What do you think? How many documents were considered by the examiner in this particular case? And it's time again to look at the screen. And you have a couple of seconds to guess. I mean, all of these sounds very time-consuming to look at as an attorney. We have 4 more seconds. Wow, you guys are good. Very good. 13 good answers, which is number 2, 3,594.
So patent claims, you probably heard of them. We talk about them as patent attorneys. They are very, very important. But what are they really? Well, the patent, what is protected by your patent is defined in the patent claims. So these are sort of the laws of the patent. They just determine what the patent allows you to prohibit others from doing as a patent holder. So the wording, the details of the words that you put into the definition of your invention in the claims are extremely important. And the fewer features, the fewer characteristics of the invention that are defined in the claims, the broader the protection scope. And this is a little bit of a key aspect that we work with, trying to find those essential features that define the invention and define it in a way that makes it novel as well as inventive. And of course, the protection that the claims give you, they need to be aligned with the business activities that you're planning to engage in. So the longest ever patent claim was in a US application, and it was over 17,000 words, spanning 40 pages of text defining what the invention is. But also, the record for the most patent claims in a granted patent belongs to a US patent entitled Apparatus and Methods for Using Front-End Network Gateways and Search Criteria for Efficient Quoting at a Remote Location. How many patent claims do you think were granted? Was it 934, 887, or 1,023? We have a couple more seconds waiting for the last answers to come in. The correct answer here is 887.
The next aspect we will cover is about patent families and what is a patent family. So patent family is a collection of patent applications which cover the same or similar technical content and is determined based on priority claims to which sort of prior application one application refers. And there are simple and extended patent families. Simple refer to single invention, and this type of extended families, all members of patent family have the same priorities, so they refer to the same previous applications, and therefore they have identical technical content. However, extended patent families, they have similar technical content, and there should be at least one priority in common with at least one other member of a patent family, so they can get quite large. And the next question actually refers to that, to use patent number 5095054, which relates to polymers compositions using starch, filed by Warner Lambert, US company. And this family belongs to the largest extended patent family known so far. And our question to you is how many members does this family have? 380, 120, or 289 members? Okay, we have approximately 5 more seconds for your answers. And the correct answer is 380 members in this patent family. And the next one.
So we covered a couple of basics for patents, but also we started the entire discussion today with, well, IP is more than just patents. And it's definitely more than just paperwork. That's why we think it's fun, because there is a lot of strategic aspect what you need to consider when you work with IP. So when you look at the business and the company, how you want to build a company, we can basically divide that into 3 big pillars. Of course, you have your technology, the science, what you're expert of, but that's not all. You also need to consider the law, which of course provides the framework, how you can work with your technology and what you can do and cannot do. And of course, there is a very important point, which is the business. How you're gonna actually earn money with what you're planning to market. Who's gonna be your customers? What is the value which you provide? What do the customers would like to buy from you? And where are you gonna actually market that? These are very important questions to actually ask when you think about how to align your business strategy together with your IP strategy. And based on these kind of questions, you can define what type of IP rights would be the most suitable for that particular business you are having. So working with IP on, randomly and just to file a patent, that's very expensive. No one really wants to do this. You want to create value when you work with IP. So if we look at these bubbles in a different manner and look at the intersections of these, we can briefly say that if at the intersection of technologies law, this is where actually those inventive concepts lie from your technology, which is patentable. But do you actually need to patent all of these there? Well, not necessarily. What you want to definitely prioritize and protect is actually at the intersection of all of these 3 bubbles, which will drive your business. So when you come to an investor and tell you, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to protect, and this is how it's going to make money for us. But the rest of the pink intersection is actually not something you should ignore. Maybe you want to publish it so no one else can protect it. Or you know that there is a potential collaborator in the future who would definitely license a technology if you protect it. So it can be an additional source of revenue, which you can consider. And of course, there are other aspects which are not patentable according to the law, but they are very important for the business. You can probably keep that as a know-how and trade secret and make sure that you do those measures to keep those actually secret in your company. And then, of course, there are other parts of law which help you to build your brand and help establish yourself on the market, such as trademarks or design protection. And we will bring a couple of examples why it's good to work with IP in a strategic manner.
So let's look at a Swedish success story, BioArctic. So BioArctic, they have a vision to generate innovative drugs to improve the lives of patients suffering from disorders of the CNS, the central nervous system. And they develop antibody-based therapeutics with potential to revolutionize treatment of disorders such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, ALS. And they also have a technology to facilitate the transfer of drug products across the blood-brain barrier. They were founded in 2003 and have already made 2 large licensing deals. The first one is related to the therapeutic antibody for treatment of Alzheimer's disease. So as most of you know, the cause of Alzheimer's disease is believed to lie in the misfolding and aggregation of the amyloid beta protein, resulting in the formation of insoluble toxic aggregate forms that damage nerve cells. And lecanemab, the antibody that BioArctic has developed, it targets the oligomers and the protofibrils that are the most harmful form of amyloid beta and improve sort of the immune clearance and decrease the amyloid load in the patient's brain. And lecanemab, it has been licensed to a Japanese pharmaceutical company called Eisai, and is today marketed in several countries around the world as the drug Leqembi. And the patents covering this product were already filed in 2005 by the founders and the inventors, Lars Landfeld and Per Gellerfors. And this first patent application related sort of to the concept idea of binding the protofibrils. And the patent application covering specifically the antibody lecanemab was filed in 2007 already. But if you paid attention at the end of last year, you also know that BioArctic made another large licensing deal. They entered a global exclusive license agreement for their pyroglutamate amyloid beta antibody program in combination with their proprietary brain transporter technology, which facilitates the transfer of the therapeutic antibody across the blood-brain barrier. And this pyroglu alpha-beta antibody program that consists of novel antibodies targeting a specific truncated pyroglutamate form, of amyloid beta, and that one is particularly, let's do it like this, particularly, harmful. And of course, this program is covered by the patent portfolio. So as part of the agreement, BioArctic received a $100 million upfront payment, and also will receive up to $1.25 billion in milestone payments for this program, and also are entitled then to royalties on global product sales. So the question to you is, who is the licensee? And are we close to? So was it Bristol Myers Squibb, GlaxoSmithKline, or Novo Nordisk? And we have 5 more seconds. Yeah, and the correct answer is BMS.
Now we're going to talk about another success story, not originating from Sweden, but from actually Belgium. There is a Belgian biotech company pioneering in vivo cell therapies called AWA Biotech, has developed a technology which is called engineered nanobody lentiviral platform, which can be very helpful in recently advancing in vivo CAR T cell therapies. So this viral platform actually enables you to administer the virus into the patients and actually do the genetic modifications of T cells inside the patient instead of ex vivo treatment. And recently has been big news about this small company that AstraZeneca actually acquired as a biotech, and at the money of up to $1 billion with an initial upfront payment of $425 million. And our next question actually relates to this company, and we would like to know, what do you think, how many patent families relating to this technology are publicly available if you look for AWA Biotech as the patent family owner? Couple of seconds and you will see the answers also on your screen. We have 3 options. Is it 1, 3, or 7? Everyone has voted. So, great answer. It is actually a single patent family which we could find, obviously, if you look at the picture relating to the technology.
Yes. And as one of the last topics, we'll actually talk about the trends, what's going on out there with, in general, patent applications. And EPO has published their own statistics for 2024 with some statements regarding how valuable is still European patent around the world. And first of all, their statement is that there is still robust demand for European patents despite the global economic uncertainties, especially in 2024. And there was only a small decrease in the number of applications that they have received in 2024 versus 2023. Also, their statement is that Europe is still an attractive technology market globally and for European companies. And we can see that there is increase in patent application coming from applicants from European states, but also from China and especially Korea, with almost 4.2% increase in applications filed last year, with some decrease in applications filed from US, rest of the world, and Japan. And when we look at how is sort of the fractions of the entire patent families filed by different applicants, 44% is coming from applicants from European countries again. The second place is US with 26%, followed by China and Japan with approximately 10% each. And out of European countries, Germany is like as the biggest filer out there. But Sweden, maybe it's a bit hard to see on this screen, but it's there with 2.5% of all patent applications filed at EPO. And this brings us to our next question. What do you think, which country in Europe has the highest number of filed patent applications per capita or per million capitals in 2024? Sweden, Finland, or Switzerland? Great, everyone has voted. And in this case, correct answer is Switzerland, which filed almost 10,000 applications in 24, with Sweden being the second and Finland third, and Denmark is fourth. So Nordic countries are really having a very big lead in that statistics. And when we come and look at the top technical fields, these are 8 top technical fields at EPO for 24. The biggest number or the highest increase for 2024 is for the second consecutive year in the field of electrical machinery, energy, and apparatus, which could be understood because this field covers also batteries and also any clean energy inventions. And the second one is also computer technology, which covers AI innovations with 3.3. As well as transport with +3, +5. But what, of course, matters the most for this crowd here today is the numbers for biotechnology and pharmaceutics. Both fields had significant increase in patent applications filed between 2016 to 2023 with steady increase each year. And biotechnology continues that trend in 2024. However, pharmaceutics had quite some decrease from 9,600 applications in 23 to 8,400 applications in 24. So it will be very interesting to see how it will continue in 25 as well. What is also very interesting is that EPO issued a statement regarding applicants, and significant number, 22% of all applications at EPO are filed by small entities. So either small, medium-sized enterprises or even single inventors, which is quite some number. And whenever we have small applicants coming, we always get the question, how long does it take to get patent? And this answer varies based on technology and where do you apply for a patent. In EPO, they officially say 3 to 5 years, with average around 32 months. At the USPTO, 3 to 6 years, but they actually claim average time lower than EPO of 25 months. However, this has to be taken with reserve, especially in the field of biotechnology. Because if we look at the average 3-year grant rate of all examiners at USPTO, which 3-year grant rate is actually 3 years after first application at the USPTO, and it typically takes 1.5 to 2 years for USPTO to actually issue a first office action. We see that most of the examiners have quite good rates regarding the grant percentage, which some peak around 90%, and very few examiners below 50%. But when we look at the specific technical unit, Technical Center 1600, which is called Biotechnology and Organic Chemistry, we both see lower average number, but also many more examiners that have lower than 50%. We actually see quite some examiners having 0% of pass rate after 3 years. So in biotechnology, it really looks different, and we can expect much longer times for prosecuting our applications. We don't have the equivalent numbers for EPO, but we probably can see very similar trend if there were such numbers. And this brings us also to the next question. What do you think is the percentage of the average 3-year grant rate in the fields of pharmaceutical and agricultural compositions and stem cells at the USPTO? 52, 62, or 42%?
Five more seconds.
5 more seconds, or a few more seconds now. Yes, the answer is actually 52%, and this is one of the lowest pass rates that you can actually see at USPTOs. It's generally quite hard to get grant. It's long procedures, but also one or two oftenly get rejected or just refused because it's so costly. Yes.
Great. So we hope that we have sparked your interest in IP and patents, taught you some of the patent basics, and gave you some examples of patents actually doing what they're supposed to do, being a fuel engine for business. We'd like to know what you would like to learn more about. Are you keen on learning how to write the experimental section of a patent application? Or would you like to learn more about patenting your own invention versus ensuring freedom to operate, that is, not infringing the rights of others? Or are you keen on knowing more on how to prepare for investment, how to make sure that you present your technology and your assets in the best way to ensure investment readiness? And we have 5 more seconds.
There is no good answer. All
of them are good answers. I think we can disclose that the most interesting aspect here was the patenting versus freedom to operate.
And I think it's now time to see who is the winner of today's quiz. And our winner, I'm gonna document it, Karin S. Where are you, Karin? Yay! Good job.
Congratulations, Karin.
Congratulations. Where are you from?
Street by Science.
Great.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Thanks so much. Good job.
And for the rest of you, if you'd like to get in touch with us, have any questions on IP, please feel free, scan this QR code and you'll get in touch with me, Edith, and Magdalena. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much.